My business partner left me with debt on the same morning he cleaned out our company account. His name was Trevor Lang, and for 4 years I believed we were building something together. My name is Marcus Bennett. I'm a black man from Newark, 41 years old, and our company, Bennett and Lang Infrastructure, was small but honest. We repaired sidewalks, maintained public parks, fixed storm drains, installed fencing, and handled the kind of city work nobody praises until it stops getting done. I knew crews, equipment, schedules, permits, concrete drainage, union rules, and how to keep a job moving when weather, paperwork, and human stubbornness all decided to fight you at once. Trevor knew suits, lunches, introductions, and how to sound more important than he was. At first, that seemed like balance. I had the field experience, he had the connections, I built the systems, he sold the image. But image is dangerous when the man holding it starts believing he created the substance too. Before we continue, tell me where you're watching from today, and if you believe some people only abandon a sinking ship because they never realized you were the one who knew how to rebuild it, stay with this story until the end. Trevor and I met when I was a project supervisor for a large municipal contractor. He was working in procurement consulting, always around city offices, always shaking hands, always telling people he could connect the right talent with the right opportunity. He was white, polished, quick with names, and very good at making men in expensive jackets feel like he belonged in the room. I was the opposite. I came from job sites, not golf outings. I had mud on my boots, calluses on my hands, and the habit of answering questions directly, which executives often mistake for attitude when it comes from a black man. Trevor said we needed each other. "You know the work," he told me over coffee. "I know how to get us in front of decision makers." I believed him because I wanted ownership badly enough to accept partnership as a bridge. For a while it worked. We started with small repair contracts, schoolyard fencing, curb replacements, drainage cleanouts after heavy rain. I ran the crews, negotiated with suppliers, trained workers, and inspected every job before invoicing. Trevor handled proposals, client meetings, billing, and banking. That last part became the first mistake I would later hate myself for. I trusted him with the financial side because I was always in the field. He sent summaries, he explained delays, he said cash flow was tight because city payments were slow. That was believable. City payments are always slow. What I did not know was that Trevor had taken short-term loans in the company's name, borrowed against equipment, and used vendor credit to cover gaps he created by paying himself consulting fees through another entity. He was not just mismanaging money, he was building an escape tunnel. The contract we wanted most was the East Ward Renewal Maintenance Package, a 5-year city contract covering sidewalks, stormwater maintenance, playground repairs, park lighting, and emergency infrastructure response across neighborhoods that had been neglected for decades. It was worth enough to transform our company. More importantly, it was exactly the kind of work I understood. I had grown up in those neighborhoods. I knew which intersections flooded first, which park lights stayed broken for months, which sidewalks forced mothers with strollers into the street. I had been collecting notes for years, long before the contract was announced. Trevor saw the number. I saw the map. We spent 3 months preparing the bid, or I did. I built the staffing plan, equipment schedule, neighborhood response model, safety procedures, cost controls, and local hiring program. Trevor built the presentation deck and practiced saying community-focused like he had invented the phrase. During one late-night review, I noticed my name had been moved to the operations appendix while Trevor's name appeared alone on the executive summary. "Why am I buried in the back?" I asked. He smiled. "It's just formatting." "Formatting put you on page 1 and me on page 23? He sighed. "Marcus, city people like one clear point of contact. Don't make this about ego." Ego. That word often appears when the person taking credit wants the person doing the work to stay polite. I told him to fix it. He said he would. He did not. 2 weeks before the final bid interview, everything collapsed. I arrived at our yard at 5:30 in the morning and found 2 equipment lenders waiting by the gate. Our skid steer was being tagged for repossession. A supplier had frozen our materials account. 3 crew members were asking why payroll deposits had not cleared. Trevor was not answering his phone. By 8 o'clock, I was at the bank. By 8:20, I learned the operating account was nearly empty. By 9 o'clock, I found the loan documents. By 10:30, Trevor finally texted me. Marcus, I can't keep carrying this. I'm resigning from the partnership effective immediately. You should consider bankruptcy before things get worse, carrying this. I stared at those words so long the bank manager asked if I needed water. Trevor had left me with debt, unpaid vendors, angry workers, repossession threats, and a pending city bid carrying plans I had built. Then I discovered the second betrayal. He had formed a new company 3 days earlier, Lang Civic Solutions. His new proposal to the city used language nearly identical to ours, except my name and our local hiring commitments had disappeared. He planned to let Bennett and Lang collapse while presenting himself as the responsible professional who could still deliver the East Ward contract without me. For 1 hour, I wanted to break something. Maybe him. Maybe the glass conference table where he had smiled across from me for years. Instead, I called my attorney, Denise Porter, a calm black woman with a voice like a locked door. She listened, asked for documents, and said, "Do not call him again. Do not threaten him. Do not post online. Bring me everything." Then I called my foreman, Luis Alvarez, and told him the truth. Not a softened version, not a motivational speech. The truth. The company was in trouble. Trevor had left. Payroll was delayed. I was trying to fix it. Luis was quiet for a moment, then said, "You staying?" I said yes. He said, "Then I'll tell the crew to wait." That sentence saved me more than he knew. The next 2 weeks were war. Denise filed emergency notices to prevent Trevor from using proprietary bid materials. We contacted the city procurement office and disclosed the ownership dispute before Trevor could frame me as unstable. I sold my truck to cover partial payroll. My mother lent me money she pretended not to need. Luis convinced 2 suppliers to extend terms because, as he told them, Marcus pays when Marcus can breathe. I met with each crew member personally and told them they could leave without hard feelings. Most stayed. A few could not. I did not blame them. Loyalty does not pay rent unless the business survives. The city almost disqualified us. That is the truth. A company with frozen accounts, partner litigation, and equipment trouble does not look like a safe choice for a major public contract. Trevor knew that. His entire plan depended on it. At the final interview, he showed up in a navy suit with a clean logo, clean hands, and a clean story. I showed up with Denise, Luis, and a binder thick enough to stop a bullet. The procurement panel sat across from us. City engineers, finance officers, a community representative named Mrs. Evelyn Carter, and the deputy commissioner, a white woman named Caroline Mercer who was known for not smiling when vendors wasted her time. Trevor presented first. Through the glass wall, I could see him gesturing smoothly at slides. He spoke about continuity, fiscal discipline, and professionalized municipal response. When he walked out, he looked at me with sympathy so fake it almost had a shine. "Marcus," he said quietly, "you don't have to embarrass yourself." I looked at him. "Trevor, you already did enough for both of us." Then it was my turn. I did not open with excuses. I opened with a map of the East Ward flooding complaints from the last 10 years, then sidewalks, then park outages, then emergency response gaps. I showed the panel what the contract was supposed to solve, neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block. I explained where our crews would stage equipment, how we would prioritize hazards near schools and senior buildings, how residents could report issues without getting lost in city voicemail, how local apprentices would be trained, how storm drains would be inspected before the rain instead of after damage. Caroline Mercer interrupted once. "Mr. Bennett, before you continue, we need to address your company's financial instability." "Yes," I said. "You do." I handed over the evidence, bank records, unauthorized loans, vendor statements, Trevor's resignation, Lang Civic Solutions formation documents, similar proposal language, emails proving I had authored the operational plan. Denise explained the legal steps underway. Then I did something Trevor would never have done. I told them the risk plainly. If you award this contract to my company today, You are taking a chance on a business in recovery. I won't insult you by pretending otherwise, but if you award it to Trevor Lang, you are rewarding the man who created the instability, abandoned workers, copied the plan, and removed the neighborhood protections because he never understood why they were there. I built this model because I know these streets. My crew can deliver it because they have already been fixing this city without cameras. The question is whether you want the cleanest presentation or the most honest operator. The room went silent. Mrs. Evelyn Carter leaned forward. She was a black woman in her 70s, a retired school principal and longtime East Ward resident. "Mr. Bennett," she said, "if we give you this work, how do we know you won't disappear like your partner?" I looked at her directly. "Because I didn't disappear when he did." That was the answer. Not fancy, not polished, true. The city did not award the contract that day. They delayed 2 weeks for review. Those 2 weeks were worse than waiting for a verdict. Trevor spread rumors that I had misused funds. Denise sent letters. Caroline's office requested additional documentation. Community groups started calling because Mrs. Carter had apparently told them I was either the truth or the best liar she had seen in years. I took that as a compliment. Then the call came. Caroline Mercer herself called. "Mr. Bennett," she said, "the city is prepared to award Bennett Infrastructure the East Ward Renewal Maintenance Package, pending financial oversight conditions and restructuring." I sat down on the floor of my kitchen. "We won?" I asked. "You won," she said. "But understand this clearly. We are not giving you charity. Your proposal is stronger, your operational knowledge is documented, and your former partner's conduct raised serious concerns." I covered my eyes with my hand. "Can you perform?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "I can perform." "Then prove us right." Winning the contract did not magically fix the debt. It gave us a ladder. The city's award allowed a community development bank to refinance our equipment debt. Suppliers reopened accounts under structured payment plans. Payroll stabilized. We renamed the company Bennett Infrastructure and removed every trace of Trevor from the trucks, uniforms, and paperwork. Luis became operations director. Denise stayed close enough to make sure nobody with a smile could ever again borrow against my ignorance. I hired a part-time controller before buying anything new. Lesson learned. The first year of the contract nearly broke us in a different way. Work came fast. Sidewalk hazards, flooded intersections, broken lights, park repairs, storm emergencies. Residents called at all hours because for the first time someone answered. We made mistakes. A crew missed a drainage blockage before heavy rain, and Mrs. Carter called me personally at 6 a.m. to ask whether my map had gone blind. We fixed it by noon. We created a public dashboard. We held monthly meetings in church basements and school cafeterias. People complained loudly, which I welcomed because complaints meant they believed response was possible. Trevor sued, then settled when discovery turned against him. Emails showed he had planned to push Bennett and Lang into collapse and pitch himself as the safer alternative. His new company lost credibility before it got started. Last I heard, he was consulting somewhere 2 states away, using phrases like lessons learned and strategic transition. Men like Trevor rarely say theft when reinvention is available. 3 years into the city contract, East Ward looked different, not perfect. No city work ever reaches perfect, but safer. Sidewalks repaired near schools, drains cleared before storms, parks lit. Local apprentices trained into full-time infrastructure workers. Small subcontractors from the neighborhood getting paid on time. A city audit showed improved response times and reduced emergency repair costs. At the renewal hearing, Mrs. Carter spoke first. "I was skeptical of Mr. Bennett," she said. "I still am, because skepticism keeps contractors honest. But this company showed up, and where I come from, showing up counts." The contract was renewed unanimously. After the vote, Caroline Mercer approached me. "You built something strong," she said. "I rebuilt something honest." "That too." Then she smiled for the first time I had ever seen. "Your former partner asked to meet with my office last month." I raised an eyebrow. About what? A regional infrastructure opportunity. And? We declined. I tried not to smile. I failed. Years later, Bennett Infrastructure had grown into a major municipal maintenance and emergency response company working across 3 cities. We still kept our headquarters in the East Ward. The old yard where lenders once came to repossess equipment became a training center with classrooms, repair bays, and a wall listing every worker who stayed during the collapse. Luis's name was first. My mother's photo was there too because emergency loans from mothers deserve recognition even if they come with warnings about eating better. I saw Trevor once at an industry conference. He looked thinner, older, still polished but less certain. He approached me near the coffee table. "Marcus," he said, "congratulations on everything." "Thank you." He shifted. "I handled things badly." "That is one way to describe fraud and abandonment." He winced. I was scared. So was I. I thought the company was going under. "So you drilled holes in the boat and sold yourself as the lifeboat." He looked down. "I'm sorry." I studied him for a moment. There was a time that apology would have meant everything. By then, it was just another sentence. "I hope you mean that," I said. "I do." "Good. Now live differently." We shook hands because I wanted the conversation finished, not because friendship had returned. People say my business partner left me with debt, then I won the city contract. That is true, but it leaves out the part where winning did not erase the debt overnight, where loyalty had to be repaid with payroll, where trust had to be rebuilt, invoice by invoice, where a city contract became not a trophy but a responsibility. Trevor thought he could take the presentation and leave me with the mess. He did not understand that the mess was where the knowledge lived. The unpaid bills taught me discipline. The angry workers taught me accountability. The threatened equipment taught me urgency. The neighborhoods taught me purpose. By the time I stood in front of that procurement panel, I did not have the cleanest story. I had the truest one. And sometimes when people are tired of being sold polished lies, the truth wins the contract.